When you think about conversion rate, when you think about the factors that affect conversion rate, you have to think about the user experience, you have to think about the customer journey, you have to make sure you have a seamless checkout, but you also have to make sure that the people that you're reaching is your intended audience. Hello and welcome back to The Marketing Solution with Shelby Paige. I'm Shelby Paige. Last week we spoke about the opportunity cost of time. This episode we're going to talk about mindset and the opportunity cost of time and how maybe if you're not so good at certain things for your business, you should outsource those things to save you money and therefore increase your investments. Now, this week we're going to talk about compounding that investment once more through your conversion rate. So your conversion rate on your website, your conversion rate, the different touch points on which people can actually purchase from you is going to be very important to what your sales and revenue end up being year over year and how you can actually increase them. So if you think about it, right, let's just do some basic math here. If you have a 1% conversion rate on your website, that means for every 100 people that visit your website and browse to see what you've got to offer, one person converts to a sale. Now, if we bring that conversion rate up to a 2%, bada bing, bada boom, you've literally doubled your sales across your platforms. You've doubled your sales revenue. You can reinvest that money. You can compound that ROI, and you can continue to scale your business. That's the power of literally increasing your conversion rate by just 1%. So how do we do that? That's something that we do. That's called conversion rate optimization.
Pretty excited about this, aren't you?
I know.
Tripping over your words.
CRO is conversion rate optimization. That means that you're constantly testing your website. You are like split testing your user experience. You're split testing your customer journey to see if you can increase that conversion rate. And like I said, compound that ROI. Make that traffic more valuable. Make the people who visit your site want to actually purchase. So some things that you can do to your website to increase your conversion rate is 1. If you're not actively going on your website, like not active like once a week, but like once a month, once a quarter, go to your website, do a test checkout, a test purchase, and see if there's any stucks within that customer journey. So you need to have a seamless checkout. If it's difficult for people to look at their cart, add products to their cart, check out, and actually like purchase that product, that's going to be a huge stuck that's going to keep them from converting to an actual sale. That's like the number one thing I see when people are like, oh, I can't, people are abandoning carts. I'm like, well, how do you actually like check out? Like, oh, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean what I mean? And they're like,
And that's why they listen to this.
yeah, no, of course. But sometimes people will have like, you have to create an account. That's like an extra touch point that you might not necessarily need. Or you can't sign in through Facebook. Having a secure sign in through Facebook reduces the friction for your checkout like crazy. Like that's something you're definitely going to want to have. It's easy to do on Shopify. It's like a quick extension integration. But in general, you're going to want to have a seamless checkout experience for people to actually convert to sales. 2, is your site optimized for mobile? 85% of all traffic comes from mobile. If you built your site on a desktop and you're sitting there on your computer thinking people are on their computer, they're not. They're not. It's all going to be mobile nowadays. It's all going to be on the size of their phone. And if some of your website doesn't translate perfectly to your phone, if it's not optimized for mobile, if there are certain elements that are broken, it's going to look very unclean and people aren't really going to want to purchase from you, especially if they can get it somewhere else. 3, if you have a fast website, that is going to reduce your bounce rate. So you can go onto Google, you can look up page speed insights, easy peasy, and see how quickly your website loads that first content paint for your users. If it takes longer than 3 seconds for your site to load, people are going to bounce. They have a very short attention span. It's supposed to be 3 seconds, but the reality is there's now something in marketing called the zero thumb stopping rate. So it's literally like 0 seconds. If you aren't capturing their attention, if your website doesn't load on their phone within 3 seconds, they're going to bounce. Your bounce rate is going to be like 98%. Like I've seen that for some of my clients. Most of the traffic that they're sending, whether it be paid or organic, they just don't even bother to wait for your website to load because either one, that interest isn't there, or two, they're like, so that's targeting, that's a side thing. Or two, their website literally does not load for 4, 5 seconds, 15 seconds. I think that's the worst that I've seen is someone's website taking 15 whole seconds to load. That's when you sit down with their developer and you're like, hey, we're gonna need to talk about this because page load time is super important when it comes to your conversion rate on your website. These are a couple of tips that you can do to increase the conversion rate on your website. Other than that, you're going to want to switch out creative ever so often. You switch out the banners on your homepage. See if you can like actively split test on your site to increase that conversion rate. That's going to be literally the easiest thing you can do right now. That doesn't cost you any money. I mean, unless you hire a web developer to do this, any money to really increase your sales and then compound that ROI, make that investment that you have in your business so much simpler, is going to just be taking that 1% to 2%. You've doubled your revenue. So important. Seriously, so important. When it comes to your conversion rate, you're really going to want to think of how people interact with your products. So if people are interacting with your products and they don't know much about your products, it's going to take a little bit more for them to gain interest in your product, in your brand. You're going to want to have your brand story be strong. That goes into branding that we've talked about ad nauseum. We're not going to go into that. But two, do you have strong product photography on your website? Do you have product videos? Do you have reviews that help people know that like other users, other people are enjoying that product to the fullest? Do other people complain about your customer service? These are all things that like really help your conversion rate if they're rock solid. If you've got strong product photography, if you've got product videos, if you have a strong brand voice and you have reviews on your website that prove socially that other people love your product, it's going to increase your conversion rate. That's something you can do on your end. Now, from the other side of the coin, you also have to make sure that the traffic that you are sending to your website is the people that you actually want to target. If you're not targeting the right people, then it doesn't matter how good your website is, they're just not going to be interested in your product. So when you think about conversion rate, when you think about the factors that affect conversion rate, you have to think about the user experience, you have to think about the customer journey, you have to make sure you have a seamless checkout, but you also have to make sure that the people that you're reaching is your intended audience. If you're not targeting the right people, whether it be your paid or organic strategy, they're not going to convert, like I said. So to recap, when you are talking about conversion rate, you're going to want to constantly go through, look at it, make sure that your website isn't broken, make sure that all the links aren't broken, there's no 404 pages everywhere, make sure that the first content paint is within 3 seconds. Make sure
Say that 5 times fast.
First content paint within 3 seconds. I can't even say it more than twice. But make sure your website loads, right? Super important. Make sure you've got solid product photography, videography. People know who you are, what you're doing, why they want to buy from you. They've got reviews, social proof everywhere, and they can actually purchase your product with ease. If they can't purchase your product with ease, if the shipping is like a hidden fee, oh my gosh, I couldn't even tell you how many people abandon checkout because when they're looking at their cart, it says like shipping will be calculated at the end, and there's no offer for a certain like threshold to get free shipping. There's no offer to entice first-time users, nothing like that. And then they get all the way through to checkout and they see the shipping is $15, $20 and they just abandon right then and there. You're going to want to have shipping transparency. You're going to want to have a seamless checkout. You're going to want to have strong videography, strong photography on your site, and you're going to want to make sure it loads very quickly. Along with that, make sure you're targeting the right people. You know who you are, and you might be able to increase your conversion rate. And if you haven't been on your website lately to check for any broken links, go right now. go check out your website, go walk through, make sure that nothing's broken, because that's going to really make people not want to buy. There you go. But why do you care about any of this? Why do you care about CRO, conversion rate optimization, at all? Simple. If you can take your conversion rate from a 1% to a 2%, you've doubled your sales revenue. Easy. How to double your revenue? Conversion rate. There you go. That's it. That's it for this episode, guys. Tune in next week where we'll be talking about something else super important to marketing.